Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Brainstorm Brewery, the home of a Modern Horizons preview card. Have we mentioned that yet?
We have more than one Corbin. I don't know if you knew that.
Whoa!
You can't say.
Whoa.
Don't say how many we have.
Whoa!
If you say how many we have, that gives too much information.
You're the one that said how many we have.
I deleted that tweet.
What?
Okay.
Oh, so it never happened. See, he covered up all the evidence.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what I was getting into.
Someone screenshotted it.
I definitely.
The only person that would have screenshotted it is currently on the podcast, and we can just ask him if he did it.
Well, that's. Who is that? Who's talking?
It's me, the intern.
Intern.
Don't introduce the intern before everyone else.
Didn't the intern retire?
I am unretiring.
He retired
I'm
like
retiring.
Prey retired from League of Legends.
I don't know what that means.
Prey retired. Prey is a...
I forgot some life stuff. I'm back.
All right, we got an intern back.
God damn, be 22 harder.
I'm 20. I'm 21. Thank you.
Oh, that's worse.
Dealing with life stuff took like 2 weeks. Good to go.
I'm having a real existential crisis.
Corbin's been dealing with butthole stuff for like 3 months.
Oh, I just did over the pants stuff with a girl. I figured it out.
DJ is referring to my ongoing health odyssey that I don't even know that I've talked about publicly on the podcast, but I don't know.
You've talked about it on Twitter.
Not really. I mean,
Yes.
a little, I guess. Anyways, it's not a story worth going into right now. I've trying to pin down some health issues. We'll update you
After
as, they
hours.
come. Listen to the after hours. It'll give you more context.
Yeah, after hours are available to our people who are $20 patrons at patreon.com/brainstormbrewery. For as little as $1 a month, which is 20 or 25 cents an episode, you can have access to our Discord. And the people that pay us $20 a month, which is $4 or $5 an episode, can have access to the after hours where we talk about stuff that is not safe for the podcast. And you'd also have these handsome drinking glasses sent to you. You get the playmat, you get all the tokens, and we're adding stuff constantly. I think $20 is the tier you want to be at because that's where we're going to be adding the most value in the next couple of months.
Yeah,
that's a project our intern's going to work on.
Well, and here's the thing too: if you already have the glasses and you're like, I want to be at that level, but I've already got them. We have additional flasks, and I know some of you got the named ones mailed out to you as part of the legacy rewards. Allegedly, that's correct. Yeah, for sure. Again, let us know if you don't receive yours in another couple weeks. But that I definitely won't keep saying that for a long time. But seriously, they should have all been sent out. So if you don't have yours, but we have more flasks that don't have names on them, and that means they make perfect gifts. Even if this is kind of a fun thing, right? I like to take stuff like that and throw it in as rewards for like just a group of friends playing a thing. Like I've given out magic card rewards for Smash tournaments. I've given out rewards just for who wins games, just kind of to keep things interesting. So I don't know, it's the kind of thing that it's a fun little souvenir that's, hey, good advertising for us, but also fun for you. Lots of ways you can make use of that tier, I suppose is what I'm saying. That's the one and only Patreon pitch I think I've ever done.
And you did it before you even introduced any actual...
I was getting there, man. I was getting there.
Do you think this is anybody's first episode?
Could be.
Only because...
Honestly, it could be because of the preview, right? We're going to have the preview card.
Ooh.
This is actually probably going to be a lot of people's first episode. Well, welcome, everybody.
Brand new listeners, hey, don't worry about being a patron. Just thank you for tuning into the podcast.
Maybe our
Give us money later.
JJ, our editor, will switch it around. Anyways, I'm Corbin Hostler. I do Mining Modern on the YouTubes. I do coverage for a bunch of different places. I work for the Overwatch League. I've got a bunch of cool projects going on. That's me. You heard our intern talking. DJ and Jason, you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Jason Auld. I write for MTG Price and CoolStuffInc.com. I'm the content manager on EDHREC.com. And I'm on this idiotic podcast. And I'm also on a podcast I actually like called Director's Cut with John Dunning, or Zav Dunn on Twitter, on the They Said We Said YouTube network. It's a fantastic project. I love pouring my energy into it, and it's rewarding. So
I'm going to take this opportunity to, especially if we have new listeners, to shout out John as an extremely hardworking content creator, puts a lot of effort into his project. So I'll jump in here in a second that you should actually go check out these things Jason's talking about.
Well, he won an award at the first annual MTG Content
First
Creators
annual
Award for
pet peeve.
Yeah. It's gonna happen.
Can't be annual until it happens the second time.
It could be annual if they've announced they're doing another one.
I think the people who made that award ceremony named it as the first annual.
Well, I mean, I guess they can certainly name it that. The little PM next to it, and that's the name of the event.
Yeah, man. So he won an award for best small YouTube channel.
Sure, as defined by
best
whatever
small or
metrics.
best medium, but it was best YouTube channel is what he won for. And this podcast, Brainstorm Brewery, won the People's Choice Award.
Yay! Thank our fans.
And I am Douglas / DJ Johnson. I am a buyer and other generic, do a lot of other stuff for 95 MTG. You can see me at a lot of the Magic Fests throughout North America. I am Twitter's resident Gontician.
That's okay. Sure, Gonti player.
What?
That's really what you're calling. You're not embarrassed to say that.
The deck has
More
reached
power
a point,
to you, my man.
The deck has reached a point where people are like, "Hey, can I shuffle that?" So
that's true. I have done that.
It's a lot of fun.
So anyways, I guess if you listen and you have no idea what we're about, we have a lot of Magic finance experience. I'm an owner of several stores here in Oklahoma where I live. Jason runs a case. DJ runs a TCG player operation that's pretty extensive in addition to everything else. So we've got a lot of experience on the financial side of the game, and that's really what we focus on. So when we look at Modern Horizons, which we're going to do in a bit, and Pauper and things like that, it'll be with an eye towards the financial implications of what's going on. But first, we're going to start with the...
I just love that you're boring the shit out of
I know.
the people
Dude,
that have
that's
listened to 300
the-
episodes of this contest.
That's a secret pleasure here.
I bet we got 5 new listeners.
Yeah, this is all upside. We get to talk to the 5 new listeners and insult, or at least annoy everyone else.
Yep.
Insult their intelligence by
We're
explaining
deliberately
it all to
wasting
them.
your time, and we love it. What are you going to do? Listen to a different podcast on your drive to work? I don't think
That's
so.
what I've been doing. So.
So here's what we do. We start things off here. We're going to play a game called Breaking Bulk, where we try to... We pick a card that is either a rare you think is bulk that isn't, or a common or uncommon that is worth more than you think it is. And the idea here is that we want you to be able to get the most value out of your collection if you're trying to turn your trade binder into the cards you want, or you're buy listing your cards, or you eventually get out of the game. It's just really important to know what you have. And then the next step is you can then buy other people's bulk, and that's how you start flipping collections in your local hometown, and that's how we all got started. That's how
this
every
isn't
Magic
entirely
vendor...
self-centered. This isn't entirely selfless. This is so we can avoid reading tweets about how Magic is expensive, when in reality the average player tweeting about how Magic is expensive has like $600 in common uncommon picks in their bulk.
that they don't even know.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyways, that's the point of the game. We
It's
try
like,
to
man,
meet each other
I could
guests,
never
so-
afford that FBB Underground C in that case. Man, Matt, the reserve list is so ridiculous. And then they sit down with me at a buy mat, and then I pull 85 Aetherflux reservoirs out of a binder. And they're like, wait, those are worth more than 50 cents?
Breaking bulk time. Breaking bulk time. Break.
Oh, yeah, Breaking Bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking bulk. The end.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's jump in here. Who wants to go first?
Ice Age card with a lot of reprints, and it's green.
Nature's Lore?
Yep. I think
Oh,
people
yeah,
have
that's
forgotten that this card hasn't been reprinted in forever, and so
Been a minute.
the versions that are really ugly, the old border versions and the white border versions, are still quote cheap in the context that they're like $2, so you can get an Ice Age one. Probably you can get like a HP Ice Age one for nothing. Or
God, imagine buying a white bordered 5th edition Nature's
that's the
Lore
one
for
I'm looking in front of me right now. That's the one
Yeah,
that I
that's
pulled out of
crazy.
bulk for this little game. It's a 5th edition one. These ones are very unappealing, I guess, so they're only a couple bucks, but the dual deck ones specifically, the dual deck and the dual deck anthology ones, are like $5 just because they have the newer border and the black border, so those are the real gems to find in collections. But I mean, like, if you're a Commander player and you just need Nature's Lores, I mean, you're going to be paying for them, so I mean, these are cards that are left in bulk all the time. I pick these out of bulk regularly. It's just like,
yeah.
another modern player unloaded their pre-7th edition stuff to me, and there's a lot of nature lores in bulk, so I mean, it is one of the first cards to ever search for a basic land type, and not just a basic land. So you can get Tropical Islands, you can get Misty Rainforest, or not Misty Rainforest, you can get Breeding Pools, you can get the new dual lands from Amonkhet or Battle for Zendikar, yeah, you can get... It just says forest, so
Yeah, look at the power creep from like Untamed Wilds to Kadama's Reach.
Yeah, right.
Untamed Wilds was like 2 colors and a green, go get a basic.
All right.
Pretty brutal.
I've got one for you guys here, and this should be pretty easy, but I've got a 5th Dawn common artifact.
Is it Wayfarer's Bauble?
It is. So, for people who don't know, Wayfarer's Bauble spiked very hard recently. Jason, what was...
No, it didn't. Card Kingdom still has hundreds of copies under $1. I don't know what everyone's like, it's $5 now. It isn't.
So, what's going on here, do you think, then? Because it's certainly worth talking about.
It was on EDH Recast and Commander's Quarters both mentioned the card in the last week. I honestly think it was Commander's Quarters just doing a video like, this is a cheap card, and everyone's like, oh, it's great fixing. Wayfarer's Bauble's in a ton of EDH decks. I really think that's what did it.
Previously, the only deck I really cared for it was Glissa, because just it's an easy recursion.
Because you can loop it with Glissa, yeah.
But I mean, I played
Jason's right.
Card
Card Kingdom's got a lot at $1.30, which is the point. I mean, it's
well, some at $1.30, some at like 99 cents.
Right, yeah, which is the point. It's a great breaking bulk pick from a lot of Commander sets. Modern Masters 2015, you might find it in dual decks. Vincent vs. Koth, that you find those in collections, a lot of old dual decks.
But
like
this
that.
week, MTG stocks pegged it at $4, and everyone's losing their shit.
That's the median getting bought out, I suppose, on TCG, or at least listed high due to whatever.
Yep.
But the card is worth a lot more than
a lot more than
people sell it for.
That's Finance 101. Don't go to a store, type the card's name into Google, and go down like 3 or 4 pages. Start looking at like AZ Toys Games online, some store, and then they've got like 5 copies of the card at 50 cents that everyone on TCG Player selling for 8.
Shard cards.
Like really, really look for all the stores that are like way downstream, because like the stuff at the top is going to get bought out and signal the market, but like those other copies aren't going to really get cleaned out until much later. So don't run right to like a big store right when you see something spiking. Just like go to Card Shark, go to some other site,
Yep, absolutely. All right, who's up next?
All right, I have a white.
Why am I last?
It doesn't matter.
I have a white card.
I feel like it does.
Saving the best for last, Jason.
I gave Anderson his, so I can't name it.
Yeah.
Is it? Does that have cycling?
No. It's been reprinted.
It's not Shelter, is it?
Yeah, it's Shelter. DJ, you can tell why. Oh, was it because of Feather?
It's because of Feather.
Yeah. All right. I got there.
You guys, they were all way too easy tonight. I don't normally get these because I don't even know the names of cards.
I
it's
actually
going to come out later that you wrote them on this show notes.
I actually didn't pick Shelter because of Feather. I just grabbed a random card out of Odyssey bulk, and it just happened to be Shelter, and then I was like, oh, I guess that works.
That's usually my favorite way to play this game, so just look at whatever latest pile I have in front of me.
The stuff that you yanked out of bulk. Something like, sometimes it's a card. I'm sorting through bulk, and I like look something up because I'm not sure, and I'm like, oh, shit, $1? So that's a great breaking bulk pick. It's stuff that surprises even us, and we're, used to dealing with bulk a lot. I have one. It's been printed 3 times. Originally in Plain Shift. It is a artifact that is common.
Plain
and since
Shift.
I can't guess it, I guess no one's going to get it because I'm the only one that got any tonight. Plain Shift.
I don't know any cards from that set.
It was reprinted once in white border and twice in black border.
What sets was it reprinted in?
8th edition and Iconic Masters.
Iconic.
That's way more information than you need.
It's not Guardian Idol. That's 5th Dawn. 8th edition.
Yeah, it was 5th Dawn. It's much older than Guardian Idol. What year was Plane Shift? Like 99?
Yeah, because it was right before Onslaught.
2001.
Was it?
I don't think I know I didn't play much of Iconic Masters. I don't know that I know the answer to this.
I'm gonna feel dumb when you say it, but go ahead.
Star Compass.
Oh, yep.
Oh, yeah.
2 mana, enters the battlefield tapped, and then you tap to add to your mana pool 1 mana of any color that a basic land you control could produce. It's a pretty bad Felwar.
I was gonna say, it's a slightly worse Cold
Yeah.
Steelheart.
Yeah.
Slightly, yeah. It's, fine card, but, that's the one I give out for free at the store, to players getting into Commander.
But it's not that bad, and sometimes Felwar Stone can screw you if you're like playing black and white and everyone else at the table is mono blue. But Star Compass,
you've got lots of
comes into play
options
tapped,
for...
which is kind of lame, but like
lots of
once you
options
get
for
it going-
mana
I am
rocks
personally
better
just
than
a
that,
fan
right?
of running almost every 2-mana rock when you're running a commander that can curve into it. Like, because Gonti costs 4, I play like almost every 2-color rock, even the real bad ones like Everflowing Chalice.
That's kind
but
of
like it's
I'm
better to
almost
run
there
a
with
bad
Bolus
2-mana
as well.
rock than like some of the 3-mana rocks.
Yeah.
like,
Right.
Darks in that deck, I like you're looking at Darksteel getting Manolith and crap like that. Like I'd run a Commander Sphere with nothing dirty.
Manolith would never feel good ever.
No,
Manolith
but
has never
I
felt good
run
in
all the
Commander.
2-mana rocks when my commander costs 4. I run more 3-mana rocks when my commander costs 5, that kind of thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go, everybody. That is Breaking Bulk. Next up, Modern Horizons. Have you guys seen? We've got some big previews in the last couple days.
Yep.
So we recorded on Monday, but like we got a lot on Monday.
Well, yeah, and our the cast goes out to YouTube and to anywhere you can download podcasts on Fridays, but it comes out a day
But
early
our
for
patrons get it
patrons.
Wednesday night, Thursday morning. So
Yep. Great, yeah. So let's talk Modern Masters here. The big one is Force of Negation. 3 mana. It's Force of Will for Modern, kind of. It's a rare.
kind of.
It's also
kind
a
of, it's
cycle.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's 3 mana. If it's not your turn, you can exile a blue card from your hand. Rather than pay its mana cost, counter target non-creature spell, exile it.
Exile the
So-
spell, not Force of Negation.
Yes. Exile the spell that you're countering. So very good against Faithless Looting, right?
Super good against Faithless Looting.
Very good against, I guess, the stupid Neoform combo deck, but very good against basically any of those decks, right? Very good against Storm, or very good against Ad Nauseum, or...
I mean, this is going to be good
whatever
against
else.
Strahd for me, so like I'm annoyed by this.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is
This,
going to be good
this
against
kind of
Strahd.
forces the combo decks to go off on your turn also if they want this as backup. So they can't play any sorcery speed combo pieces.
Ad nauseum is an instant speed combo, so
Ad Nauseum's the one that would have the best chance here because Ad Nauseum can win at instant speed. Yeah, it's one of the few decks that can really actually do that.
Yep.
But you can't win with the Lightning Storm version. You'd need an instant speed win condition.
Lightning
it-
Storm is an instant.
I was gonna say Lightning Storm isn't.
Is it an instant?
It's very weird. It just
I'm
messes up.
thinking-
It
It's
just
an
messes
instant
up
with
the
an
live
activated
man
ability
plan.
on the stack. Thanks, Cold Snap.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was back when Mark Rosewater is like, we need more complexity, and everyone's like, stop. Please.
Well, that's timely now that we're doing Time
because he
Spiral
called this
2
set
here.
a love letter to Cold Snap block.
Well,
He's like,
no,
I
Time
want
Spiral.
no
Time Spiral block.
Yeah, I want no fewer than 40 keyword abilities, and everyone's like, Jesus
Well,
Christ.
how
Mario.
hype are the full art lands? No lands.
Okay.
Really? That's your reaction?
That's the Snowland you want. If you're going to run Snowlands,
These are
those are the ones you
insane,
want.
right?
Yeah.
These are cards we thought they would basically never reprint, and here they are just dropping full arts on us. How cool is that?
Titus
Yeah,
did a
they're
good
hot.
job.
And if you're running extra planar lens,
Well, here's
you
the
run
thing:
those
is extra
basics
planar lens is already expensive, but does it have upside because of these?
Not from where it's at now.
I don't think so. I think these have upside because of extra planar lens rather than vice versa.
Okay, well, I would say, I mean, very anecdotal, but people in my local group are already like, yeah, I can't wait to get these and now build a snow deck. I can finally get Snowlands. And it's like, I mean...
You could have gotten them the whole time. The Ice Age ones are
Yeah,
cheap, and
yeah,
I
but
try
I
to sell
mean,
them.
people, maybe... I don't know. Like, I don't know what to say to that.
Anytime
other
that,
than
like, people
there are
like, wait,
people
this
who
was
are
a
going to
thing,
be
you
buying
gotta-
lens from
You got to remember, someone starts playing EDH every day,
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying.
So-
The end result of this is those people are going to buy lenses who weren't before. So,
I
just
mean,
something
maybe
to keep
they-
in mind.
Maybe they won't buy lens, but they'll probably buy mouth around and scrying sheets and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I bet scrying sheets is in the set.
It's not
That would
because
certainly...
Already modern legal.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
the whole
that's
reason
the-
Scrud's the deck. Yeah.
So what about Force of Vigor, the other card in the cycle we have? You can exile a green card rather than pay its cost if it's not your turn. Destroy up to 2 target artifacts and or enchantments. At first,
It's pretty amazing.
I was pretty concerned about Tron at first, to be honest. I was like, but then I realized it's basically the same as just playing Nature's Claim.
Yeah.
Scapeshift likes this, and
Everyone likes this, right?
Tron doesn't play enough green cards, but one funny thing is it doesn't stop the Michael Synthelatus Karn combo.
oh, really? Because
it's colorless. You
Jim
don't have green
Davis said
cards
it
in
did,
your-
and Aaron
yeah.
Forsyth retweeted him. So are you sure it doesn't stop
Yeah,
it?
man.
No, because the lattice makes it.
Yeah, we know.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Andy.
It's late. I'm tired.
This card's cool for Commander too, though. I'm interested to see what the rest of the cycle does. Like, what's black going to be? Graveyard hate? That's the big question.
I mean, it's a green.
What if the black one's
What's that card? That
what
if
the
you
black
play
one
during
is
your main
graveyard
phase,
hate?
you get 2.
What if the black one's what?
What if the black one is graveyard hate? Would that be good?
I don't think so.
Would exile a black card from your hand, exile a target player's graveyard at instant speed for free? Would that be good?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It'd be fair and macabre.
That's like worse than Ravenous Trap, right?
Yeah.
Well, Ravenous Trap has a trigger, right? That may not be met.
They're not doing. I was like, oh, since it's like Force of Will, they would base it on what they did historically. But Force of Vigor is nothing like Bounty of the Hunt, so I don't think we
Right.
can count on
That's
the
what
black one being anything like Contagion.
Right,
It
that's
might
what I'm
be.
saying. Like, it could be a lot of stuff, right? They all could be.
Well, they also want.
The red one,
Red one's
if the
gotta
red
be-
one's like Pyrokinesis. That actually might be okay. I don't know.
There's just a lot that's possible with this. Obviously, the other one of the big reprints is Fluster Storm. Rip Storm, finally, maybe. But that's a big one right there. That's huge.
But we already had access to the mythic from Zendikar.
Yeah, we did, but that's not quite the same. I mean, Fluster Storm is a main deckable card.
Yeah,
It gets
it's
a
a
lot.
4 spike worst case scenario.
Prismatic Vista is okay at rare. Stop complaining.
Well, it's always going to be. It'll always be more than that, right? So be a spell cast before it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it's always double. It's just great, right? So that's the main
Prismatic
deck.
Vista's nuts. Can we talk about how good that is?
Yeah, absolutely. What's the card do?
Well, it says paye un point de vie sacrifice vu point de chercher dans votre bibliothèque.
Try clicking on
carte
him.
de terrain,
I got
de
you.
best,
I
mettez la
got you, buddy.
Tap. You basically it's a
Pay a life.
fetch that gets a basic.
Tap, pay a life, sacrifice, Prismatic Vista. Search your library for a basic land card, put it in the battlefield, untapped. It doesn't say that, but
But it doesn't say
enunciating
tapped,
that.
so
Yeah.
it's untapped.
Then shuffle your library. So this is cool.
And it's okay to be rare.
Yeah.
And I was
this
arguing
is-
with people on Twitter who were saying it was
people
going to
were-
be $30.
Get into the worst argument, DJ.
So
At least argue about politics or something, man. Come on, arguing about
this
rarity of Prismatic Vista.
people are playing lands that at common that put the stuff into play tap. They're playing
Evolving Wilds.
Terramorphic Expanse, and they're playing
Evolving Wilds.
the other one, Evolving Wilds.
Mirage Fetches.
And this is, people play that stuff. So this is just gonna either replace that or supplement that.
I'm playing.
So like a lot of the reasons people, if this gets to like $15, it's not gonna be that playable. But like I think for it's possible they could put this in a precon or something like that. In the
they
future.
could put this in a. If it wasn't for the shuffling, they could put this in a standard set. It could go in a core set.
Yeah,
This would be
so
very
this is
powerful.
just people are playing those ones that put the land into play tapped, and this puts it into play untapped. This is
It would be
just-
very
it's quite
powerful.
good.
You're right, DJ. It might be too good.
Yeah, like people play Evolving Wilds when that's in standard, so that card would be really good.
Yeah, it probably would be too. It depends on what the format was. Like, it would be fine if it was in a devotion, standard type thing or whatever.
It only gets basics, so it's not the most insane thing ever.
It's very
but,
good, though.
If you don't compare it to Misty Rainforest and you compare it to Terramorphic Expanse, you start to see how it's an upgrade on a
Yeah,
card.
also, like, we're talking about this being
really
too powerful. We just did freaking fetch lands into battle for Zendikar duels. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe that dates me. We didn't just do that at this point.
that was like
that
4
was a
years
thing.
ago, bud.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Morophon the Boundless. Is that how you say that?
Yeah.
All right, this has got all the words. It's a 7-mana colorless spell. Legendary shapeshifter. Changeling. It's every creature type. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Spells of the chosen type costs Wooburg less, and they get +1/+1. So, Jason, go crazy. Like, what's the reaction to this been?
Well, the reaction to this has been people being like, "Oh, it's the insert X tribe commander I've always wanted." It basically for those tribes that like had some members outside of the typical colors, like. There are white and red goblins. There are like green and red goblins. So people are like, "Oh, I hate that I have to play Mad Anti-Hero."
Grixis Rogues.
Any tribe that's never had really a commander, this kind of is a catch-all. But this also seems to be sort of like a combo type enabler if you pair this with
like
Joda
Animar.
or Fist of the Suns.
Yeah, it's like
because Fist of the Suns and Joda adds an additional mana cost that like it is different, right? Like you can choose to pay
it's an alternative
Wooburg,
mana
and this
cost,
reduces it by Wooburg. So basically, you can play the spells for free if you have Joda or Fist of the Suns out.
It's just
Well, is that a thing that people are going to do? I mean, is that worth doing in Commander?
You have to choose a creature type, and you can only play the stuff of the that creature type for cheaper.
I've seen people be excited about this for gods.
Gods?
Yeah.
Are there enough now?
I mean, there's like 5 from this past set, War of the Spark.
There's like 20, right? 20 or 25?
There's 5 from this past set, there's 5 from Amonkhet, and then there's 10 multicolor gods, and there's 5 from the original Theros, so that's at least 25.
I won't lie, that actually sounds pretty cool.
I mean, it sounds more cool than good, but like people are buying out Fist and Joda, and I don't agree with that.
Right?
I don't think it's going to be that good.
That's kind of good.
I think Morophon itself is exciting, and I think it's going to sell some $8 booster packs to some casuals. So how
do gods work with opalescence? Is that the one that turns them into creatures?
Yes.
Turns enchantments.
Yeah.
Are they become creatures, but they're still indestructible because of the like?
You missed the episode where we had the L2 judge on, man. Sorry.
My bad. I'm pretty sure they still are. They're just become indestructible enchantment creatures.
I don't know. Why are you asking us?
Because it sounds cool and I want to build this deck, man.
They don't lose their indestructibility, so they still...
Yeah, that sounds awesome. So
there you have it, folks.
The one person likes the card.
I mean, I'd like the card fine, but I don't think the Joda shenanigans are the best thing to do with it. I think it's just sort of like a catch-all, like, I can play Squirrels now, but I can play Glare of Subdual and Opposition in my Squirrel.
Well, how do you feel about this card in the 99?
I'm sure some people will throw it into a Sliver deck or an existing 5-color Tribal Shenanigans deck.
It's certainly not better than the existing Tribal leaders on some of the 5-color Tribals. Like, it's not a better elemental.
You're not putting this in for your Ur-Dragon. You're not.
Yeah. Right.
Just there are 28 gods because of the 3 other ones from Amonkhet.
Oh, yeah, Scarab God. And...
Oh, Scorpion, Scarab, and...
and I think there's probably other ones that we're not thinking of, too.
Locust.
No, I just mean, like, in general that are...
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I mean, the issue... I mean, it is... You'd have to just fill your deck with, like, a bunch of mana rocks. And that would just be your deck. And you just start spamming out gods, and most of them are pretty bad. And then you hit the break point where they all become creatures, and you just kill somebody. Or you get Cyclonic Rifted and cry.
There are 28 gods, exactly. I see.
28 creatures is more than you would sometimes run in an EDH deck that has other cards going on.
That seems fine.
Because you figure you got about 40 lands, so you really got about 58 cards to work with, so 28 creatures. And then...
Not counting your, like, 1 or 2 random changelings like Mirror Entity and...
Oh, I didn't think about that. There are probably a handful of changelings, especially by the time this set is done, perhaps. That could get there. Might be kind of a fun deck. I'll see where we're at by the end of this set. I'm in the process of building a new deck, and I was currently actually looking at building Keranos. It's just like a blue-red, blue moon deck.
In my experience, don't listen to what people on Reddit say they're going to build. Like, because as much as they're like, oh, we've been waiting for Morophon. It's going to be the number one deck on EDH Rec this next week. Let's wait till the whole set's spoiled and see what people actually build, because nobody was, predicting Feather would come along and be like easily the number one EDH deck in War of the Spark. But like as soon as Feather was spoiled, I sort of knew something.
Well, what's your take on Feather now, Jason? With it having been out for a bit, is it a deck people are going to play for a while, or is it flash in the pan?
It's a flash in the pan for sure.
Oh, yeah, it's the next Petra or the next Locust God or the next whatever niche theme that they throw at you.
Well, it's cool. I like that you can do those things. I like that they exist because it's kind of whatever when everyone is doing it. But if somebody were to pull out a Hepatra deck against me at the store next week, I'd be like, hey, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
right?
It's one of those things where like, if 100 people build it and then 90% of those people take their decks apart over the next 3 months, the 10% that remain are cool to play against.
Right.
If you see a Feather deck 4 months from now, it's not going to be boring. It's going to be like, oh, cool, a Feather, and it does its unique thing. And
right. Yep.
I'm going to build a Gave Guru of Spores deck because no one's going to fight me for the staples. And the new Johnny's pretty good at it. So there.
All right. Anything else from Modern Horizons you guys want to touch on before we move on to the bans?
I just want to say, like, I'm pretty excited about Prohibit. I think that card is going to see some good play in Modern.
You think so? I was thinking about that
historically.
And I was also kind of meh on it.
I think it's going to be pretty good.
I mean, yeah, that Prohibit plus Exclude being in the set means Counterspell is very unlikely. But I'm okay with that.
Finally win a bet with DJ, so
that's fine. It's not like a bet that I have any serious stake in, though.
What about Bear Punch? There's an actual Bear Punch.
Keep in mind also low-key Living In could end up with some upgrades due to the cycling in the set. Bear Punch is cool.
Like, this set's designed to be drafted, and I think this will actually be pretty good to draft.
I'm looking forward to it already, actually.
Yeah. I didn't get to play with, this is my first time playing with, snow permanents and stuff, and I'm pretty excited.
Me too, yeah. All right, well, there'll be a lot more of this set.
Stuff that, historically has been so good that we're just... we're like, yeah, this is good, but some of the stuff being added to Modern might not be irrelevant.
Well, here's
Diabolic Edict.
I don't know if you
Diabolic Edict is already a worse Liliana's
Triumph.
Yeah, Liliana's Triumph is sweet.
Lava Dart with Arclight Phoenix is interesting.
I don't know if you guys have seen the article on the Mothership, but they pointed to Michael Majors as the person who was in charge of the Modern testing for this set. They went on record putting somebody out there, so if it turns out poorly,
they just put him on.
Don't envy the position.
They've never done that before, so they're probably like, "Oh man."
Well, they've there've been times, right? Zach Hill, remember when he was lead developer or whatever? He was writing the development columns. They blamed him for everything, right? I think he designed Cavern of Souls, and people blamed him for the state of Magic for 5 years, right? Like, people, when they get a face to put their hate to at Wizards, it can get ugly. So I really hope that decision to publicize that for Wizards pays off.
I think Fist of Flame looks very strong for Pauper.
What does it do?
It is 1 in a red.
Are we ready to... Well, let's get into Pauper then, right? Yeah. Let's start at the top. The bans. Gush, Daze, Get Probe now banned in all formats.
Bye. Those are very good bans, I think. Delver has had a stranglehold on the format for a couple years now, and it just kept getting cards added to the deck that really shouldn't have been, like foil, and just it's been a mess. But Delver is finally...
Historically, I liked playing Gush and foil, but I never had Delver. I was playing shit like Ribbon Snake.
All the cantrips. It's insane.
Yeah, you got to play cards that were restricted in Vintage and banned in Legacy in that deck, and
but they were legal in Pauper
as 4-ofs, and it was not okay. So I am glad to see that deck tempered quite a bit. I think it opens up for the metagame to be a lot more diverse. I think
What about Tron?
I think Tron will be good. Monarch decks will be good. There are mid-range red-white or black-white decks that play Thorn of the Black Rose and Palace Guard.
Those are good cards.
There are mono-green aggro decks that are young wolfy Sylvana Ledgewalker-esque beefy stuff where you just play green aggro and stomp people. There's always Burn. That's the stereotypical Burn deck exists.
So where do you want to put your money in the format right now? I mean, obviously we don't know, but what are the leaders?
I don't want to put
like
money into the format if I'm just looking to make money. That's the thing. It's Pauper, man.
Sure.
If you are looking to get into
drove some
Pauper,
prices.
you spend $50 and get 3 decks. I mean, it's Pauper.
Pauper drove some prices over the past year or two.
It has, but I mean, I don't think that these resulting bans cause any significant upshifts or chaos. Or I read Fist of Flame in Modern Horizons, and I think that looks cool and could potentially be a thing. It is 1 in a red in an instant. Draw a card until end of turn. Target creature gets trample and gets +1/+0 for each card you've drawn this turn. It obviously gets worse without Gush. But I am just curious to see if there are some shenanigans that can be had with that in some format or another. I just like the red card drawiness of it.
Well,
Put it on a Kiln Fiend, man. I don't know.
Definitely one thing about Pauper is like the format is going to be really slow to like change. It's going to be a little while till like we see what comes out on top because it's like
there's not a ton of results to pull from.
But yeah, overall, I don't think that
the goblins theme here I also found interesting.
I'm hesitant to believe that will be a real deck.
Right, that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, the red-black one they spoiled, they previewed rather, the munitions expert. It's a
how
1/1.
Is this not a wizard?
Yeah, it's a 1/1 flash goblin for black-red.
He's wearing a wizard hat.
When it enters the battlefield, you may have it deal damage to target creature or planeswalker equal number of goblins you control. That's a real payoff, right?
There's also a real shark being thrown in the art.
You're right about that. So I don't know. I actually was considering looking at, like Goblin. There's also Goblin Matron, I believe, in the set. There's
Goblin Matron is indeed in the set. Yeah. And also Goblin War Party.
Yep. So it just, I don't know. Maybe look at like something like Goblin Chieftain or Goblin King. But I'm not sure.
Isn't like the only thing.
Goblins just seems like it'd be a bad merfolk.
What?
And Merfolk is a bad merfolk.
Bad merfolk. No, Merfolk's getting Force of Negation now? That's hype. That's big time hype. You can use that to protect your creatures. It's huge.
How are you going to use it to protect your you hardcast it?
Well, you can hardcast it, but also like Anger the Gods force it.
Yeah, force my O-Stone, force my Ugin.
Being able to tap out is a big deal.
All right. Great.
I mean, it might just be a sideboard card, but be hype. We'll see if that.
Corbin, maybe you'll play a modern tournament for the first time ever.
And maybe you'll have to wear channel your inner merfolk.
How would that happen?
Well, if people actually go to patreon.com/Brainstorm Brewery and we hit our stretch goal of $3,000, then Corbin we will spend significant amount of that money to hire a professional cosplayer within the community to make a suit for Corbin to wear. It may or may not be waterproof. And he will go swim in a lake and or river and or douse himself in some sort of environment where
maybe he'll just hang out in the room where he podcasts and waits for it to flood.
And then he will, in one order or another, play a Magic tournament wearing this costume.
Hopefully before he gets it wet.
Yes.
Cool. Can't wait.
That's a thing. So we're very near that goal, so we just need a few people. So if you're considering bumping up from 10 to 20, I think that's a wise move.
Or if you want to jump in just at the $1 level, get into the Discord. It's a lot of fun, a lot of good information. But let's move on to some of that good information. Pick of the week time.
Pick of the week, pick of the week, pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
This is where
pick of the week.
Every week we all pick a card that we think is primed to go up. So this is not full disclosure. Most of the time we don't even buy these cards. We're not here trying to profit off of our own picks. And honestly, most of us deal with stores that just operate at a much larger scale. So full disclosure, when we make these picks, it's because we're looking at the information, we're following the where things are heading in Magic, and not because we're trying to, as the term goes, pump and dump these.
Yeah, and general rule
we're not
is,
trying to make a quick buck here.
The general goal of this cast is not to tell you to go buy out Star City of a specific card, and then make hundreds of dollars or whatever. It is the buy this while it is cheap so you can play it later, or just buy 2 or 3 play sets and make a little money to spend on your EDH foils. It's...
Yep. All right.
I'm not going to apologize for this cast, because like if you're listening, you clearly haven't drank the speculators is bad Kool-Aid, so thanks for listening.
So my pick is a pick that I have had as a pick several times. It's been almost a year actually since I picked it. I did check the spreadsheet, which is another benefit of Patreon goals. But anyway, Heartless Summoning is an Innistrad rare that saw a lot of play very quickly as a flash in the pan for Eldrazi when Battle of Zendikar came out, because there was a lot of fun with Ugin or Eye of Ugin and Urborg making it tap for mana, Black Eldrazi decks pumping out very big things for very low amounts of mana. Heartless Summoning makes your creatures cost 2 less, and they get -1/-1. This has yet to be broken in Modern since then, but I have just always held out as a hopeful. These are very, very cheap. They're bulk rares, 1 printing, Innistrad.
What about Mirror Superior?
That is another pet card of mine that I would love to see have seen the light of day. But Heartless Summoning specifically, I picked it as just sort of a hedge. I mean, I didn't feel any strongly about any particular card this week. But then when we were talking about Morophon, I realized that people might try to play at Morophon with a lot of big stompy things that cost normal large amounts of mana. So you could put it into that Fist of Sun Joda deck with Eldrazi Titans, and then just in case you don't draw the Fist of Sun, your Ulamog will cost a lot less and it'll be slightly weaker. You could put it in that Tribal Gods deck. Your Locust God only costs 2 mana. Morophon plus Heartless Summoning, you got a 2 mana Locust God or a 1 mana Phoenix or something like that. So I think there might be some people interested in that, just slamming down free Bantus or free Athreoses, that kind of thing.
I'm going to be honest, I'm really considering building this deck right now. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a very, very cheap rare. It's from Innistrad. This has just sort of always been like a hedge your bet for Modern, Commander, whatever. It's just I think it's a good card to have. I have always been a fan of picks where they only require 1 mistake or not even a mistake, just new addition from Wizards to see the light of day. River Kelpie was a really big one of mine for a while that I played in my own personal Commander decks. Loved it, loved the card. It's a bulk rare from Shadowmoor. Was always wondering why nobody else played it. And then finally, when Muldrotha gets printed, River Kelpie goes to $8, and I'm a very happy man. So stuff like Restore Balance, Mirror Superion, just cards that are like, this could be very good. It just needs the one thing. And I still think Heartless Summoning needs that one thing eventually, but get them now while they're not hot.
All right, there you go. Who wants to go next?
Me, so I have to go last.
Jump in.
Flusterstorm is making a card that I bought accidentally years ago. Go back
The
up.
best kind.
I'm pumping and dumping this card. Absolutely. I'm 100% on the pump and dump train. Get your Niv Magus Elemental before they go up.
Or it's cool. I recorded videos with that one a few weeks ago.
Jason, is there a specific TCG player store these customers should look towards to acquire their copies of Niv Magus? Maybe a certain Twitter hashtag with excellent customer service? I mean,
yes,
is there...
Stormbrew Games LLC on TCG player, please.
Yeah, if you want wet copies from Oklahoma, sure. Now, people will know because I'll be the one with the most copies.
Okay, man.
Because I bought heavily into this a while ago, and it was like the last standard-based hype call I made, and I shifted.
So
my
what's the
focus,
deal now? What's the deal now, Jason?
Well, Flusterstorm is getting into people's hands and is legal in Modern, and now people are speculating finally that you can put a bunch of spells on the stack.
Yeah.
And then Flusterstorm them, which puts a copy on the stack for each spell, and then you eat all of them with Niv Magus Elemental.
Yeah, I mean
So basically, Flusterstorm says double the storm count.
Yeah, I mean Storm Rift, or I believe it's what it is. Ground Rift. Yeah, Ground Rift is in the deck. Does the same thing.
And then they fatal push your guy, but then you have the second Flusterstorm.
But yeah, in this case, though, that's a real thing. Is that when your opponent taps out, you can Flusterstorm and just go for it. But also, Flusterstorm protects your pieces, which is something that obviously Ground Rift would not do. So, I don't know. It's a marginal upgrade to the deck. The deck's still probably not good or probably even close to good. But
what if we ever said stuff is going to spike this week because it's good?
Exactly.
You think Morophon's good? It's going to go up because people are like, bah.
Yeah. All right.
I'll buy 4 copies because what the hell? That's what everyone tweets. Everyone's like, I just bought 4 copies because what the hell? And then they're like, oh, goddamn speculators, the card went up. It's like, yeah, because everybody bought 4 copies.
All right, Intern, what do you got?
All right, so I'm a Tron player, but I actually think I found a pretty good one. I have the Mirrodin copy of Oblivion.
I like how you just automatically let people know they should have low expectations because you are a Tron player. That's fitting.
So
this is why you're the intern.
So the Mirrodin copy of Oblivion Stone. It's at like the lowest it's been since like 2013, and it's starting to go up. And I think Tron's in a really good place right now. So
unfortunately,
I don't think this card is going to get any cheaper unless they reprint it.
Why specifically would you pick the Mirrodin one? Because historically, as a vendor who moves a large number of cards, cards from the original set that also have master set printings, the original set is the worst one to move, and I hate them.
I agree with that. It's interesting, though, that the Mirrodin version is actually bottomed out at $9 and crept up to $9.75 market, while the Iconic Masters one is still lagging $2 behind. So in this case, the original has actually settled $2 above the Iconic one, and they've both started to rise, which is not usually see those two things converge. So maybe an art preference.
I think I like the Mirrodin art way better than the Iconic Masters art.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, something's got to account for it, because typically these things converge almost perfectly on each other and then move in tandem for the rest of their lifetime as a card. So this is kind of an interesting, I suppose, case study, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah. Just historically, the master set printings of cards will sell significantly more quickly, and they will be much easier to buy because they're always near mint.
Yep.
So
good condition, newer frames.
People like their decks to match. This is a tangent we've gone on multiple times. Not tangent, but this is a lesson that we've taught multiple times on this podcast, but not everyone here is listening since 2012, so
that's really
for those Magic players who have been playing that long, but maybe not listening to this podcast for that long, you might have been a part of that era where the older border was preferred, and their older border of cards just had that premium. Like fetch lands are a good example, where it's like, oh, the Onslaught Polluted Delta will always be worth a lot more. The original version of this Odyssey card is worth way more than the reprint. It was in 2013 or whatever. But that's not really the case. We've seen as time has gone on, people will much prefer the newer art and the newer frame, like with that dual deck card I mentioned earlier with Nature's Lore. These people who are buying the cards now, the vast majority of players now have started playing in the past 7 or 8 years or so. So these are players who are all used to the new frame and all want their cards to match. And they're coming into the game with these newer border cards, and they want the cards that they pick up from older versions or older cards to have newer versions. So, I mean, like Nature's Lore, stuff like Oblivion Stone, stuff like Praetors, they just want these all cards to match, and the newer frame is generally preferred and sells faster.
Yep. All right, I'll round things out. I've got a pick going with Morophon, I believe is how we were pronouncing it. But a card that's very similar to it and just got a reprint, so it's pretty cheap right now, is Adaptive Automaton. It's right at $3. It was in Explorers of Ixalan recently. It was originally in Magic 2012. It's a 2/2 for 3 mana, colorless artifact creature. But as it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. It is the chosen creature type in addition to its other types. And creatures you control the chosen type get +1/+1. So if people are putting together colorless, flexible tribal decks, Adaptive Automaton's probably going to go in them. And, its power level is not super high, especially in a format like Commander. But there are enough people who will play it that it is probably going to move this price from 3 to 5. All right, there you go, everyone. I guess that's it for this week. Thanks to the intern for being on. Anything else you guys want to touch on before we get out of here? All right, there you go. Look, we made it through the podcast with my power only going out once. Turns out there's tornadoes here.
Corbin just learned that.
It's...
Well, if we're lucky, Corbin won't be joining us next week. Because he'll have died in a tornado and we'll have a permanent replacement.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. Until then, we'll see you all next time. Brainstorm Brewery.
If you're interested in being entered into the raffle to be Corbin's replacement, head on over to brainstormbrewery.com or patreon.com/brainstormbrewery.
Didn't even plug the YouTube channel this week. Come on, guys. Step it up.